Welcome everyone. So some more things that I wanted to show you regarding Ubuntu, and let's just first try to change the IP address. Remember we had set the IP address using DHCP. So let's try to set it manually. So I come onto these double up and down arrows, and let me also make it full screen. So click on these arrows, and from here you can go to edit connections and whatever connection you want to edit. For example, this is the Ethernet connection that this machine is connected with. So I click on edit, and from here I can come on to whether IPv4 setting or IPv6 setting, and you can change them accordingly. You select on manual from here and simply type on the IP address, the subnet mask and the gateway, and after that you click on save. Now once you get it saved, let me just give it because that would be easier for you to understand. So I type in 1.5 let's say 5, and subnet mask and gateway is 192.168.1.1, and also give the DNS IP address as 4.2.2.3. so let's just save it. Now once we save these changes, these are not made active. We really need to, what we have to do is that we need to make this connection bounce by enabling and disabling it. So I enable it, although it has done it automatically, but if you are doing it on physical machine, it does not do that. So just a precaution, if the changes are not taking effect, you just need to enable and disable the networking. So if I come on to terminal, or even if we come from here, connection information, we see that the IP address has been changed. Earlier it was 4, now it has been changed to 5, and also the DNS has been changed to 4223. Now let's also see, as I mentioned, that there is a feature of shared folder, but that require kernel compiling for Linux distributions. So I told you about that using FTP server. So if you have got a Windows platform like mine, that I'm using Windows 7, and let me just hang on for a while. So if I show you my desktop and I put this FTP server, this is known as Xlite. It is easily available from search engine. You just need to give this search, and they are also available this baby FTP, which is quite tiny in size, hardly a couple of kilobytes, and this one is also pretty small, this xlite.exe. So once you have that FTP server with you, you simply need to run it by double clicking it, and from here you can add the servers like this one that I have added. You simply need to click this plus sign to add a new FTP server, and from here you can define the IP address that it needs to listen to, or maybe a dynamic IP address, and then click OK, and the server will be added over here. Now once the server is added, you also need to allow access to this server from certain usernames. To do that, click on this person icon over here, and from here you can add the persons. Like this one I have added Ahmad. You can also add by click on this plus sign, and whatever username you want to add in, like we can type in say ABC is the user, and also the password is ABC, and what's the home directory of that user you would like to be. Like I have set mine to be, if I show you the details, and if I come on to user path, I have set mine to be the desktop. So once the user gets FTP access to this server that we have established, user will get to see this screen, which is host screen. I'm emphasizing it because it would be easier for you to move files from your guest machines to your host machine, or other way around. So let's just click this one and close this one as well, and now let's try to run this FTP server by clicking this play sign. Now once it gets started, we should ideally be able to make FTP connections to our host machine, which is Windows 7, and let's just bring up our Ubuntu server, which is here, and let's try to do the FTP connection through terminal 9, and then we'll do the same with the GUI application as well. So I type in the IP address, which is 192.168.1.22. This is the host machine which is running FTP server, and the username was Ahmed, and the password I had also set was Ahmed. So we see that I have logged into the FTP server. I can do ls and I can see the contents of the desktop which are on my Windows machine desktop. Now this is all good. You can copy the files, or you can get the files or paste the files, but there is another way which is easier for you. Since this is command line, and not everybody feels comfortable with command line, you can use the GUI for that purpose as well. So to get to the GUI, you click on places, and from here you can click on to connect to server. From here you can type in FTP and then the IP address 1.22. Click on connect, and once it gives you the prompt, you can then enter the username and the password. And since I had already opened it once, so it has saved those username and password. If I show you these places, this is the connection attempt that I had made earlier, so it has saved these credentials, but once I logged out, these credentials will be lost. So the problem here is that I wanted to show you specifically this thing, is that, let me just make it full screen, is that you see this has opened up, this FTP connection, it has opened up in browser. So the problem is that you can get the contents, you can copy them, you can I should say that get them from the FTP server, but you cannot put these contents back in this directory, even if this had been the writable directory. So that's kind of problem, and there are tweaks, there are ways that you can change this behavior, that once you open the FTP connection, it does not get to open in browser, rather in the Explorer or in Nautilus Windows, if I call this one. So it should open up in this window so that you can drag your contents in here and copy them back. But by default, the application has been associated with the Firefox browser. Now you can change it, but it's better that we do a separate application for that, which would be easier for you. So to do that, let's come on to Ubuntu Software Center, and that is one way to show you that how you can upgrade or update or install different packages using Ubuntu Software Center. There is another application besides Ubuntu Software Center, which is, if you come on to System Tools and Administration and come on to, alright, so it's not here, they have removed it, but you can install it again. Let me just show you what is that. It's called Synaptic Package Manager. So Synaptic Package Manager, this one over here. Now this is advanced tool. Ubuntu Software Center is good enough, but it's like I would say it's like a summarized or a brief tool that gives you the functionality, basic functionality and the necessary functionalities that you need. But to have more granular control over the packages and the details, or what packages you from certain packages, if you do not want certain components to be installed, then you need to have this Synaptic Package Manager. You should go for this one, the Synaptic Package Manager, only after you have got good understanding of using Ubuntu software for some time. So besides that, Ubuntu Software Center should take care all of your needs. So coming back to the FTP client, let's type in FTP and see what options we have got. So I would recommend this one, FileZilla. If you click on more info, it's not a big file, it's just 7 MB. I have already installed it. So once you come over here, I can remove it as well. If I remove it, so it's asking for the password. The password is the same as that of the user account. So the password that I set for Ahmed, I'm giving that password in here. Now once I do that, the package will be removed. Just hang in there for a while. It is taking this time because it is removing it and then configuring the system accordingly. Now once it's removed, we see that once you select this package FileZilla, you will be handed over or given this screen. And now to install it, you simply need to click install. It's free package. Now since it's already downloaded in my virtual machine, so it's not taking any time. Otherwise it would take some time to download it. Although it's 7 MB, if you have got good connection, it should hardly take a couple of seconds. So once it gets installed, it will also show you that where is that executable or that icon or that link that you should click to in order to open the application. So we see over here that we can find this application FileZilla in applications, then internet, and then FileZilla. So let's come on to here. This is applications, the internet, and then FileZilla. So let it open. And once it gets opened, this is the interface that we get. Over here I need to give in the FTP server IP address, which is the Windows host machine at the moment, and the username, and then the password. And then the port is open because by default it will take the 21 port, which is FTP port. So let's click on quick connect, and we see that we have successfully connected, which is over here. The transfer was successful, and we see the same. This is the local side. This is the guest machine, which is the Ubuntu one, and this is the Windows side, Windows 7 operating system on which we have made the FTP server. So we can see the same components that we had seen earlier. Now if I want to copy something from my host or from FTP server to my guest operating system, which is Ubuntu, let's first simply select it where I want to copy that one. So it says that at the moment I'm in home, Ahmed, desktop. So I want the file to be placed on desktop. Now let's select this one. This is quite small, so it should be easier and quick, or maybe this one. So I simply click on this one and drag it onto this side. Now once that is done, we see that file has come onto this side. Now let's see if I bring it down and bring it down as well. This is the file that we have copied. So pretty easy, slick and quick way to copy your files and folders from your host, or as a matter of fact from other machines to your guest operating system. Now you can control your Ubuntu machine using command line as well, and for that I would say that you better have SSH protocol in it. And to install SSH, let's come on to, let's see if, alright, so over here let me just bring it full screen. Let's come on to Ubuntu Software Center one more time, and from here we select SSH daemon. So this is the secure shell server. Let's install this one. If you already know about SSH or secure shell, it's good enough, but if you do not, it's just a remote text based protocol. Even it has got support for GUI as well. We can securely transfer the data from one side to another, which is, and I should not call it data, rather it's the management control that get transferred from one point to another. So let's type in the password so that you can securely monitor and control your devices. Instead of going onto them using the console or maybe using the GUI, you simply can use the same thing using texting, which is the basic functionality and the prime functionality in Unix operating systems. So once it gets installed, let's come on to the terminal. It has got no GUI, so we need to enable this SSH service using command line interface. Once the terminal gets opened up, I need to type in user and then sbin and then SSH daemon and if I press let's say enter over here, it is saying that it could not generate the keys. Alright, so we also need to define the configuration file path for this SSH daemon. By default, when you install the setup, it automatically generates a configuration file which is placed at this is the argument that I need to give in this -f, that where that file is placed, and the file location is in etc. This is a directory, and then in SSH, and then in SSH daemon config. So let's hit enter over here, and again it is saying that it could not find this one. So let's start with sudo. So once I do that, we should ideally be running SSH daemon. Let's check the process. This PS is for checking the processes which are running, and these are the arguments. I am using the pipe sign to grab only or to show only that information which I'm about to put in. So the characters that it should find are this one. So we see that the process has started, which is this one. Now ideally we should be able to access this Ubuntu server using SSH protocol. So let's head back to our Windows machine, which is over here, and this is the very familiar terminal program which is known as PuTTY. And in PuTTY, if I click on Ubuntu and I load this one, so the IP address earlier was 4, let's change it to 5, and now let's try to connect to our guest operating system, which is Ubuntu, using SSH protocol. Now it has sent us the keys, that the encryption keys that we want to trust or not. Yes, of course we trust it, and save the keys as well. Then we log in as Ahmed and whatever the password we had set. So now I have accessed my Ubuntu guest machine using SSH protocol, and I can execute all the commands that I would be able to execute as if I was over here in this terminal. So this is a good way to remotely access your device and manage them.